Pricing is something that a lot of people find really difficult to get started with. So when you're first getting started, I would suggest going to local shows at venues that you can like picture yourself exhibiting in. So, whether it's like cafes and restaurants or local art fairs or, galleries, whatever you think your next steps will be, and sort of look at all of the art in those shows and just get a sense of what kind of price range those pieces are priced at, especially looking at the local market, like understanding where that fits in and looking for like the type of work that you do, whether, what your work kind of looks like, just the same genre a little bit. And that can give you kind of a start as far as like some initial numbers to work with. And I would always suggest starting a little bit low, because the idea is that you can like only increase your prices from here. You can never really decrease your prices, and you have to stay consistent like all across the board. So if you're in multiple galleries, the prices have to be the same everywhere. If you're like in an art fair and then showing at a restaurant or, whatever the things are, all of the prices always have to be exactly the same. And the advice that the first gallery I worked with ever gave me was that you can raise your prices like 5 to 10% a year, depending on how things are selling. So you just want to like start a little low to give room to kind of start that steady incline, knowing that you can never go down. Because if you think about it, say someone bought your work at like a higher price and then later they see your work at a show and it's priced like lower than what they paid, like they would feel kind of upset, is kind of, so you have to never decrease your prices. But on the other hand, if you've made the mistake of like accidentally pricing your work too high and realizing now like actually it should really be priced down here, it's hard to like lower your prices. But if you're just starting out, it could be, kind of okay. You might just need to lower your prices this one time just to stabilize everything, and then you can keep it consistent always and just slowly increase the prices. So the pricing method that I like to use is like per linear inch. So basically length plus width times your price per linear inch gives you your price. And the reason for that is that like if you use per square inch, which I know some people do, it gives a strange proportion to the like larger pieces compared to the smaller pieces. It just doesn't make sense, the numbers. Like I think the larger pieces become like super expensive. So linear inch is just more consistent, like it's a better formula really. So let's take a look at how I would actually come up with the final prices. So I've written some basic sizes over here, 9 inches by 12 inches, 14 by 18, just a range of like standard sizes of canvases that one might use. And then I've basically like totally estimated some prices over here. And the way I would suggest you come up with these initial like rough possibilities of as prices for different sizes is to go around to different like art shows in your area, looking at work that's similar to yours and artists that are at a similar level to you, and just kind of come up with some basic numbers. So these numbers are pretty low, like a really, maybe a good starting out point for someone who's like just getting started with selling their paintings. But you could put whatever kind of rough possibilities of prices seem workable for you. And then what you do is you start by just adding these up to find out like how many linear inches total you're dealing with. So 9 plus 12 is 21. We'll just put it in a little circle. 14 plus 18 is 32. So now you know the total number of linear inches for each of these canvas sizes. And then what you'll basically do is you'll take like the number, the rough estimate of price, and divide it by the linear inches, the total. So 400 divided by 70 is like 5.7. And just make a little note sort of around here. This is like your possible price per inch number. So possibly $5.70. So 400 divided by 70 is 5.7. 300 divided by 42 is 7.1. 250 divided by 36 is 6.9. 200 divided by 32 is 6.25. And 150 divided by 21 is 7.1. I know this is sounding a little bit like a lot of math, but really it's not that hard. This now basically gives us the ballpark. Like this smaller canvas, my estimate was $7, per linear inch, and this larger one was a little bit different than the others. All of the others are kind of close to $7-ish. So maybe we'll just use $7, So that's kind of what you're looking to do, is find like an average between all these numbers. And then finally, to get your final price numbers, now you'll multiply 21, each of these linear inches by $7 to get your final numbers. So in other words, now we know that length plus width times our dollars per square inch, which is 7, equals your price. And then you can just take note of your final numbers from your crazy complicated looking system, which is actually very easy, and just clean everything up. So that way your prices are totally consistent. Your linear square inch is $7 and it's based exactly on size, and it's just really easy to understand and consistent for everyone. So that shows you how I would like systematically use this formula to get consistent prices per linear inch for my pieces. Again, keeping them consistent across all the shows that I'm in, and knowing that I'll only steadily increase my prices from there. And the other thing to consider is that most galleries take 50%. So I would kind of suggest like not even questioning it, just accept it. And I think galleries are really good for the artist. Even if they don't sell that much work, it's like a qualifier. So you'll find that like more collectors will come to you because you show in a gallery. But a lot of the time the galleries do sell like way more work than I could sell by myself, and they fetch higher prices. But some people really hate the 50% and don't like galleries, and there are other ways to do it as artists at this point, of course. So selling your work on Instagram, and there's lots of different ways to go around the galleries, but just keeping in mind that the standard rate that a gallery receives is like 50%. So you might want to like factor that into your considerations as you're choosing your prices. So my prices in galleries are based purely on size, but my prices for like portrait commissions are based on size and complexity. So something where it's like a head and shoulders shot would be priced a little lower than something where it's like a person standing in a room with 1,000 books and a million other things behind them. That gets factored in for my commissions, but for my gallery pieces, it actually doesn't. It's based purely on size. But so sometimes I'll have a painting that'll take like forever and it'll sell for what seems like very little, but it sort of balances out because I'll probably also have a painting of that same size that went much quicker, and so it kind of like balances that out. And then sometimes people have bodies of work that actually it calls for slightly different pricing. Like for a while I was doing landscapes and portraits, and my portraits were priced a little bit higher than my landscapes. And also like drawings would probably be priced a little bit lower. I'd love to hear about some of your experiences with pricing your work. Do you find it hard? Do you have a system? What system do you use? Leave your comments below.